Disposable vapes first hit the UK market in 2005.
Since then, they've exploded in popularity, with around 4 million people vaping in the UK.
But there's a hidden cost.
Around 8 single-use vapes are thrown away every second in the UK, leaving a growing mountain of plastic waste and, crucially, lithium batteries in their wake. With around 80% of people who use vapes saying that they don't dispose of them correctly, it spells disaster for the environment and for local councils. Here is the true cost of disposable vapes. When you're done with a disposable vape, you're meant to take it to a proper recycling facility like this, where it'll then be sent off and taken apart so the different materials inside can be recycled properly. But how often are people actually doing this?
We do know that 120,000 a month in North London alone are being used, and at least half of those are being thrown on our streets or just simply put in bins. And that's a huge amount of precious materials that can be used for other uses.
Inside every vape is a lithium battery. Lithium is a finite resource that comes with an energy-intensive mining process. If you were to take all the lithium being thrown away every year inside disposable vapes, it would add up to around 10 tons being sent to landfill or incinerators. That's enough to make batteries for 1,200 electric cars. It's expensive, but recycling centres are beginning to recapture some of those precious metals.
I'm at the Sweep Kusakowski Recycling Centre in Kent, and as you can see behind me, there is just a mountain of electronic waste. This is only a small percentage of the amount we get through in the UK. The rest will get sent to landfill or incinerated. So if when you're done with your single-use vape and you recycle it properly, this is where it might end up. Justin, can you tell me a bit about where we are and what sort of stuff gets in here?
So we're in City Mall in Kent. We're Sweep Kusakowski. We're a waste electronics recycler. So everything you kind of see around us is kettles, toasters, computers, microwaves, vacuum cleaners. All of those gadgets that we've got around our home come to us for recycling. This is about 1,000 vapes. It's about a week's worth of deliveries for us when it comes in all the other electronics we're recycling. So quite a small amount, really, compared to the amount that are actually being thrown away.
How many are being thrown away every week?
Well, the latest numbers are saying 5 million a week are being thrown away in the UK. Those are ending up, certainly not with us, they're ending up in the rubbish collections, there's road sweepings, in with our kind of cans and bottle type recycling waste. So they really are popping up all over the place.
Should we take a look at them?
Sure.
Right. Gosh, so that's 1,000 roughly.
Yeah, about 1,000 vapes.
And you've got these in the last week.
That's right.
Would you be able to show us what's inside a vape so we can get a better idea of how they're recycled?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can open up one for you and show you. So that's the lithium battery that powers the vape, but also causes so many problems because it is prone to catching fire.
And that happens quite often?
Can do, yes. And this is the cartridge section. There's a little bit still left in there, just where the tube's been squeezed.
So what happens to the lithium battery once these are taken apart?
So when we have them, we're able to separate the battery, and the battery can go back round again and get recycled. Likewise the tube and the plastic. So the real key is actually capturing them as a waste stream, and we're just not winning great instead.
This is expensive for councils because vapes are sold as a single unit that then need to be individually taken apart by hand.
The lithium batteries inside vapes mean that they fall under government regulation for waste from electrical and electronic equipment.
Vape manufacturers should be covering the cost of collection and recycling. But over 90% of vape producers in the UK are failing to meet environmental regulations.
The single-use vape has been on the UK market for 3 and a bit years. And in that time, hardly any producer or any retailer was meeting any of their obligations. They basically went undercover, yet have grown to be a massive market. And now we think at least 5 million of them are being thrown away every week instead of being recycled. And that's because retailers who had an obligation to offer drop-off points for them in store, and the producers and importers who had a responsibility for paying for the recycling have been avoiding that responsibility whilst making massive profits as well. So it's the profit that they've been making essentially has been at a cost to the public purse and avoiding all of the environmental and fire safety issues that are being caused by them. When the regulations were written, people were talking about fridge mountings. They were worried about moving from cathode ray tube television through to flat panels. It didn't envisage that we would have a piece of fast tech like a vape that would be sold in hundreds of millions, and we'd have hundreds of millions of lithium-ion batteries out there and in the wrong place. So basically the regulations have not been able to adapt quickly enough to them.
We reached out to some of the big manufacturers of single-use vapes to find out how they're meeting their legal obligation to cover recycling and collection costs.
Local councils are already cash-strapped, and the cost of properly disposing of vapes is stretching already tight budgets.